All right, welcome to this explainer. Look, if your ultimate mission is donning that Indian Army uniform in 2026 under the Agniveer General Duty category, we really need to decode this mission briefing together. Let's completely unpack the exact syllabus and exam pattern based on the latest official trends so you can start your prep with absolute 100% clarity.
Here's our flight path for today. We're going to break this complex process down step by step. We'll start with the cognitive battlefield of Phase 1. Move right into cracking that core syllabus, then shift gears to the physical endurance you're going to need in Phase 2. Finally, we'll wrap up with your ultimate survival preparation strategies.
Kicking things off with Phase 1, the CBT exam pattern, or as I like to call it, the cognitive battlefield.
Okay, take a look at your targets here. You're up against 50 total questions worth 100 marks. The points are heavily weighted toward general knowledge, general science, and math, each giving you 15 questions worth 30 marks. Logical reasoning rounds the whole thing out with 5 questions. But you know what your biggest hurdle actually is? The clock. You have a strict 60-minute window. That's literally just over a minute per question to read, process, and lock in your answer.
Now, this right here is the danger zone. The marking scheme is a total double-edged sword. Nail a question, and boom, it pushes you forward with a solid 2 points. But get it wrong? You're actively damaging your score. Leaving a question unattempted is completely neutral. You get 0 marks, but hey, you lose nothing. Seriously, I need you to burn this number into your memory, minus 0.25. That is the exact penalty for every single incorrect answer. In a highly competitive exam like this, a string of blind guesses could literally cost you the uniform. You've got to attempt questions only when you are confident. Accuracy is just as critical as speed, folks.
Moving on to Phase 2, let's talk about cracking that core syllabus by chunking down the targets.
So for general knowledge, you aren't just memorizing a bunch of disconnected facts. You're learning the actual terrain and heritage of the nation you intend to defend. It requires mastering the timeline of the freedom movement, mapping out Indian rivers, and keeping tabs on current global affairs. It's broad for sure, but incredibly specific to your role as a future soldier.
Then we've got general science. And listen, this isn't just boring textbook theory. It's about understanding the physical world you'll be operating in. You need the fundamentals of motion and electricity in physics, basic chemical reactions for chemistry, and really critically, a deep understanding of the human body and common diseases in biology. All right, math, this whole section, it literally comes down to speed across 4 pillars: arithmetic, algebra, geometry, and mensuration. Can you calculate simple interest instantly? Factor quadratic equations? You absolutely must have those formulas for the area and volume of 2D and 3D shapes memorized cold to save precious seconds under pressure. Now, logical reasoning is only 5 questions, but this is your opportunity for quick, guaranteed marks if you practice. You'll need to swiftly decode alphabetical patterns, map out simple family tree problems, and solve direction sense questions. Think of this section as a mental puzzle. Once you know the tricks, these 10 marks are totally yours for the taking.
So, let's say you've crushed the cognitive battlefield. You managed your time, dodged those negative marks, and passed the CBT. What exactly awaits you next?
Well, that brings us to Phase 2, the physical fitness test, the physical challenge.
And guys, this isn't just about passing, it's about scoring. Look at this razor-thin margin between Group I and Group 2. To secure the maximum 60 marks, your 1.6-kilometer run has to clock in at 5 minutes and 30 seconds or less. You cross that line 1 second later, you drop a massive 12 marks. The same brutal precision goes for pull-ups. You want exactly 10 to grab that full 40-mark reward.
Beyond just the points, there are hurdles you literally just have to survive. The 9-foot ditch jump and the zigzag balance, which, honestly, is exactly as tricky as it sounds, are strictly pass or fail. Plus, you've got to make sure you meet the rigorous, category-specific physical standards for height, weight, and chest measurements.
All right, let's wrap this up with Phase 4, winning preparation strategies. Think of this as your ultimate survival gear. So, here's your chronological tactical plan. Step 1. Ground yourself entirely in 9th and 10th grade NCERT textbooks. Step 2. Make reading the news a daily habit. Step 3. Drill 30 to 40 past paper questions every single day. And Step 4. This is a real game changer. Manufacture pressure. Don't practice for 60 minutes. Train your brain to finish all 50 questions in 50 minutes. Build that buffer for exam day.
To guarantee success, lock in these final tactical habits.
Respect about -0.25 penalty and completely avoid random guessing. Obsessively revise your formulas and dates. And critically, never ignore your physical fitness while you're studying. Your brain and body need to be trained concurrently. You can't start running only after you pass the CBT. It will be way too late.
You now possess the exact 2026 roadmap. The syllabus, the physical metrics, the daily habits, the path is brutally clear. So the only question left for you is this. When the alarm goes off tomorrow morning, are you ready to put in the work to claim that uniform? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Get out there, stay focused, and Jai Hind.